What really, stood out to me from just watching your video, obviously, is your length. Being 6'5", 280, okay, you have the size, but seeing it on film, it makes a big difference, okay? Some guys, they say they're that height, they're that weight, and you don't necessarily see it, but with you, you see it. And that is also a good testament to what you can grow into, what your strength you can put on when you get to the college level and everything else, okay? I know as a former college athlete of how much weight I gained, especially that first year, okay? So you're going to grow into that. And with you, the other thing that I really liked was just that little extra intensity that you play with, that little nastiness that you play with. You take that to your length, and then you take that to the size you're gonna grow into. You got some big things ahead for you, man. And just keeping that intensity, keeping that nastiness, and everything else as an offensive lineman is what college coaches are going to look at. Okay. Now, my suggestions for your highlight video are the following. First thing, with this information slide that you have on here, looks very, very clean, very detailed. The only thing to add in is an email. Okay, you've got the name, you've got the school, graduation, your position, height, and weight. Okay, your X account, your phone number. Just add in that email. Okay, and the reason I say that, all right, is because sometimes with that email, they need, or college coaches need this for sending you information, but also sometimes when they got to fill out paperwork and stuff like that, and send in stuff for signing and all this other stuff for camps and everything else. Okay, there's a lot more that information out there than people realize of how much they really need. Okay, so handing them the basics is a great starting tool. Okay, very clean. If you've got a picture kind of showing your height, I think this is an awesome picture you've got. If you've got one kind of showing your height, maybe compared to somebody else, or just you standing, that might be a good one to kind of show as well. Kind of give them a big picture of, hey, this is how big I truly am. It's just not maybe it says 6'5", but I'm only 6'3". Okay, give them the actual picture to give them the representation of that. Okay, that'll help out tremendously. Right? And having already kind of been through this process a little bit, I want to kind of fine tune things you've got. Okay, and it's not necessarily anything bad. It's just kind of the sequence of things that we have, and kind of maybe things to look at from what an offensive line coach is wanting to really look at when they're watching your film. Okay, they kind of look for certain things. It's kind of when they go to they get in that zone and they watch 60 to 100 kids in a day. How can we put things in your video that's going to kind of the coach is really going to stand and say, okay, I really want to see this kid. I like how he does this. I like how he takes over the edge. I like his double team working on the outside zone or sweep or something like that. Okay. So kind of what we really kind of look in and kind of hone that in, okay, to really clean things up. And like I said, there's nothing you need to take out. All great plays, okay? But so how can we maybe tweak something just a little bit more? So say you are a 5 kid on a coach's board, how can we become a 3? How can we become a 2? And sometimes when you just fine tune and tweak things out, it kind of helps out in that stance, okay? So the first clip, all right, I would start out with here is at the 21-second mark, all right? And it is kind of harder to see, just especially where we're at right now, but if you're zoomed in, it's a little bit better. The reason I would start out with this, okay, is because of the explosion that you fire off the ball with, okay? Shows that explosion, shows that fire. You're coming off the ball low, all right? Firing off this ball low right here, okay, and you drive the guy 5 yards away, okay? You show the pancake, you show the explosion and the nastiness all right there. All right, now, just want to kind of get the thing popping, okay? Like I said, trying to get their attention early. They got a minute, so we got to keep them engaged for after a minute and get all of our best plays that we can at the very beginning, okay? Because after a minute, if they're not watching, if they don't see something that really catches their eye, they're gonna go on the next kid. So we've got to get that popping, that explosion. That was the first thing when I started watching it. Boom! I saw you pop off right there. I was like, that's the fastest so far out of all the clips I've watched. That's the fastest he's fired off the ball, okay? And they want to see that stuff. They want to see that explosion, staying low, not standing straight up, especially when you are big, okay? That's just one of those deals. Now, following this up, all right, going to your very first play here, okay? Boom, working second level. He clears. All right, now I have nothing to take care of. I'm taking my backside linebacker. Okay, hopefully this guard would have been able to get up here for power. Okay, but a great job just driving this guy and driving and staying on him. All right, now, so that's why just showing, boom, how we can process, how that football IQ thinks of, oh, I went down block. Where do I go now? Okay, you're already moving. Boom, our base is good. The only thing we just got to keep working on a few of these plays is getting hands inside. Okay, get the hands inside, working on those elbows, and that's also going to come into play with that upper body strength. Okay, that's going to come to grow as you get bigger and stuff like that. Just keep working on that side, right? So a great one really to start out there too, just to kind of show what you can do. Now, going to the next one here at the 38-second mark, okay? The one right at, so boom, okay? Showing, all right, being able to take that takeover step, okay? What do you guys call it? The gallop step, bucket step, okay? Being able to take that over, get the crossover there, boom, you're sealing that backside edge, okay? And then I love the tenacity, dude, the stinking tenacity, the grittiness, then just being fired up, man. That's what makes a captain as an offensive lineman. Just when you do something like that, coaches want to see that stuff. They want to see who's going to take charge, who's going to be the leader in that room. Okay. When I was an OC, I wanted to know what player in my offensive tackle I had to get on them sometimes. I'm like, man, let's go. You're the biggest kid on our team. You have the best potential to go play D1, and he did. It's like, we got to keep this thing going. And it kind of reminds me of this right here. And it kind of that senior year, he kept getting better and better and better. And senior year came around, and he was a stud. And it's kind of like you. There's a lot of power stuff running right at you because you're going to down block and you're going to clean it up. And that's what happened, man. And that's what I'm talking about right there. Okay. And the next one, the 153 mark. All right, back up here just a little bit. Okay, boom. All right, this 153 mark right here. This is the one I was talking about with the jet sweep and everything. All right, great job working this double team with the tight end, taking over, and then just running. just running and not even letting him stretch it out. You're pressing him vertical. That's a great job there. Okay, great job with your feet, showing you can combo. Sometimes it's easier to combo inside with the guard than it is to do with tight end. A, you don't get as many reps, and B, especially when stuff's getting stretched out, that can show how well you can take stuff over. Okay, so those plays I would definitely kind of start out with. Put some, you can within those last three, put some more explosions, kind of mix it up a little bit, but still showcase what you can do. Okay, showcase what you can do within the first 6 to 8 plays. Have all 4 of those in there. Okay, but like I said, nothing to take out. Just kind of change things up. Put the pancakes, put the explosion. They want to see that physical and nastiness, especially from a guy your size. Okay, that's what they're expecting. Okay, now going to the 26-second mark here. All right, this is for our pass plays. We did our run plays. Now we want to go to our pass plays. All right, great job here. Hands, boom, feet. All right, riding the guy, boom, just get on top and get nasty. Okay, so great job there. Any other pass plays you got? All right, add those in after that. Okay, that way an offensive line coach, he watches your film. They break things down very differently. They're very, very detailed. Okay, I've worked with offensive line coaches that are very detailed. They all are. Okay, that way he sees it all. He wants to go back, especially when they start getting closer and closer. Hey, I like this run clips. I want to see how he does in pass pro. He knows I can go to this point in the film and he can pull that up there. Okay, that's why we want to have that stuff separated. Okay, put your offensive or the run blocking stuff up front, and then go to your pass blocking. Okay, start off with this, give him physical and nasty. Show some of that technique stuff. If you got any picking up twist, blitzes, stuff like that, add that in there as well. That's really going to show some things off. Okay, so. That's where definitely kind of changing that stuff up is going to go. Make sure we put the email in, okay? Change up the sequence of plays, and doing this overall will provide a more dynamic highlight video for college coaches. Now, after going over the game film feedback, let's take a look at what divisions you should target, okay? I'm basing this off the most recent highlight video, which is exactly what college coaches are going to do, and where the athlete can receive a scholarship at this moment, okay? So with that being said, and the levels you should take, or excuse me, before we get to that point, this is going to be based on a few criteria, okay? First thing is your graduation year, all right? It is now. It's 2026, guys are gone, down to 2027, so we got to do our part, okay? We'll get to that here in a second. Your size, your foot speed, your flexibility, and your power strength. That's what offensive line coaches are going to look for, okay? So with that being said, the levels you should look at today for a scholarship are D1 FCS, okay, and then lower to mid D1 group of 5 schools, all right? Now, you should start getting interest and offers from these schools, okay? If not, you got to start reaching out to them right now. Okay, if you haven't gotten this stuff going yet with these schools, okay, you need to start that communication process. You need to start getting your name out there through social media. You need to start DMing these coaches. Make sure you're following them. Make sure you're marketing and bringing yourself in the correct way. You're going to have a bigger spotlight on you with these levels. You got to make sure you're doing things right. Okay, but when you do this stuff, we need to make sure we're attending the right prospect camps. Okay, this offseason is very big for you. Making sure we're going to the right ones. Okay, making sure we're getting in front of the coaches we want to get in front of, the ones we've been in communication with. Okay, and then we can reach out to some of those other ones too that we're trying to level up to. Okay, so we need to make sure we're doing that because it's all about those relationships you're going to build. Make sure we're putting our money toward the right camps. All right, when you go to these, make sure you introduce yourself to them. Okay, get that one-on-one, especially the offensive line coach. You're going to be with him every single day, a lot of hours a day. Okay, get a relationship with him. All right, but here's the deal: when you build that relationship, you send that midseason highlight. All right, you will have that relationship with them. Okay, they're going to know who they're watching. They're going to remember seeing that stuff at camp. Okay, but here's the thing: we have time. You've got an off season to get stronger. You've got midseason highlights, and then we got camps, and then we've also got a full season as well. Okay, to put that stuff together. Here's the deal: how can we also go attack these levels and get better? My suggestion to improve your game that translates to college football and possibly a higher division are the following. First thing, we've already kind of talked about it, that strength and power. Okay, working on that upper body, adding good weight to your frame. Okay, got to be able to explode out of that stance. Okay, can't come up as much. We got to keep exploding. That's why I wanted that first one clip to really show the explosion you got. They get bigger and stronger and faster at the college level. You got to be able to drive that bigger guy who's older than you. Got to be able to drive him back. Okay, going to flexibility. Offensive line is very big. Pre and post training stretching. Make sure you're doing that on your own. If you guys don't, do it all the time. Okay, it's going to help improve that pad level with the run and pass. Some of this is going to be the individual work. Do it before you go to bed, when you wake up. All right, it's also going to help prevent injury, the groin, the hamstrings, the knees. Because here's the deal: your best ability is your availability. If we're not taking care of ourselves now, that's going to hurt our chances for video and offers. And you get to college, you get injured, you get something tweaked, something like that. That's going to hurt our depth chart position. So we got to take care of our body all the time. Working on foot speed. Okay, dot drills, ladder drills, and then we'll also go take that into the kick and post pass pro drills. Okay, you got to have the old school saying of beat as quick as a hiccup. Okay, you got to keep working on that. It's got to get quicker and quicker because the guys get quicker coming off the edge. Okay, you need to work on having the second fastest feet on the team. You got to be able to beat that D line with your first step. Okay, and then go into O line technique development. Okay, stance, footwork, hand accuracy. Start from the ground up. You're going to be doing a lot of details in ND time at the college level, okay, and all these drills. So if you have a good development of them going into the camp, into fall camp, that's going to help you on the depth chart later on. Okay, so this is where we got to keep working on these things more and more. Okay, that's going to help you come into the senior year, get more and more looks at stuff. Okay, so really keep making sure we're focused on these things. These improvements are what an offensive line coach, college coach will look at. So double down, do all these things, hit it hard, and if it translates to your video, this can help you level up your evaluation, possibly have an opportunity at that upper group of 5 and possibly the D1 Power 4 level, okay, that lower level. So, but Stafford, at the end of the day, man, everything's going to come down to your individual work. All right, it's going to come down to your outreach as well as your marketing on social media and that relationship building with college coaches. The process you're in right now, okay, it is all about relationships. I'm gonna be straight up with you. It is about the relationships. It's about, you got to know who you're, because you're going to spend the next 4 years with these coaches. So you got to develop a good relationship. Okay. And here's the deal. Which is why the next step is your athlete interview, to where you're going to get interviewed with the coach and get coached on your communication and your interviewing skills, which is critical for the conversation you're going to get ready to start having with these college coaches. Okay. So make sure you watch the video beforehand and be ready to go. If you have any questions, we'll be able to answer them at the end of the interview. Thank you.